In other news, two textbook giants announced this morning that they plan to merge. Now, if this deal is approved by regulators, the combination of McGraw-Hill Education and Cengage Learning Holdings would produce the second biggest publisher of college textbooks and higher education materials in the United States, with annual revenue of more than $3 billion. We have the two CEOs of both companies with us tonight. Nana Banjari is the CEO of McGraw-Hill, and Michael Hansen of Cengage, who will become the CEO of the combined company that will be called McGraw-Hill. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
So why merge now? And I'm curious, who called who?
Right. I can start, and if that's acceptable.
Okay.
I had a chance to meet with Michael, I would say in July or August last year at a conference. We were introduced by a mutual friend. And the conversation quickly led to a situation where we understood that we were looking at a common vision of what we understood of our industry, what plagues our industry as the challenges, and also a vision of what would be an exciting future for us to gravitate to. That led to more conversations and making a recommendation to our financial sponsors.
And I guess what you feel doing it together, you can do it more cheaply then. Is that the idea?
For sure, there's a basis for kind of, if you have a common core and a common backbone, you can then allow yourself to reinvest in a business that really has been deprived of growth. So the point is, you have to find yourself an opportunity to invest in growth.
The idea, I guess, is to bring the cost of textbooks down. I mean, that's a big cost for college students. How are you going to do that?
Absolutely. And, this doesn't start with the merger. We have started to do this way before the merger. And, education costs are a real barrier for students today, and textbooks are part of that. Right. So we started to introduce at Cengage a model which is a subscription model that for one fixed price, instead of buying multiple textbooks, you get access to all the textbooks. And you get it online, and you get it in a very affordable way.
How much is that?
That's $120 a semester, and that compares, or $180 a year. Mm-hmm. That compares to the average student spending around $500 today. So it's a significant saving for the student. So affordability is absolutely key to what we do. And in the combination between the two companies, we can continue to do this and drive even more value.
Is anybody else doing this model? I mean, Pearson is the #1 textbook publisher. You guys will be #2 combined. But is anybody else using this subscription model right now?
There are different varieties of it. So the McGraw-Hill is kind of the status quo, and something we plan to preserve because the optionality and choice is very important to us. The inclusive access model, which is different from what Michael described, is making the course, especially the digital platform course, available to students on the first day of class, making it easier for them to buy at the point of registration at 50 to 80% lower cost than they would have bought if they were buying from the bookstore.
College costs too much. We know that.
Yes.
How are we going to bring the cost down? There's no real competition as we know it. Students don't shop for college the way they would shop for clothing. Colleges don't price the way a clothing manufacturer would price to try and lure somebody in. So how do we bring those costs down, do you think?
Well, I think, Bill, you're hitting on the key point, which is transparency and competition, right? And we have experienced this in the college textbook market. We have a lot of competition out there. There are rental companies. Amazon is in this market, renting textbooks. There are companies that sell used textbooks, etc. So we have seen the competition, and the competition has frankly led us to sharpen our pencils, to really focus on the student experience, and on affordability. And I think broader, to your point, every player in the system, whether it's a college, an online college, or any supplier in this system, needs to be held accountable to the value that they're really adding. And we are all for it, but we're also starting at home, as opposed to pointing to other people that should be doing a better job.
What do you think? Does it take a drop-off in enrollment to bring costs down eventually, or not?
No, we hope not. I mean, education has a very important societal role, and I do agree with the point that you made, that it has become very expensive. We, as publishers of content, whether it's digital or print, have a role to play. We're completely committed to that. And in fact, one of the drivers, what we would call the mission of this merger, is affordability. And we have multiple ways of doing it. Choice is an important factor, bringing down the cost of production and passing it back to the student.
Well, we wish you well with the merger, and hopefully it gets regulatory approval at the same time.
Thank you.
Nana Banerjee from McGraw-Hill, Michael Hansen from Cengage Learning. Thanks for joining us.